Welcome to our Russian World Cultural Program. Today you will have the privilege and opportunity to explore Russian folk music and dance. Folk music, dance, arts and crafts of Russia are the integral part of Russian culture, which reflects the spirit and history of Russian people. Folk music and art grew from deeply rooted traditions that have been passed on from generation to generation for centuries. Today, you will learn about different folk instruments such as the balalaika, bayan, guitar, and wooden spoons. You will hear Russian folk songs and view live performances by Russian folk musicians and dancers. Their energy and authentic presentation will give you a genuine taste of a real Russian carnival or festival. The Russian folk groups will perform traditional and internationally known and loved songs. There may even be an opportunity for you to participate. You will also study different kinds of Russian folk art, such as khokhlama art, Gorodets painting, matryoshka, and palikh painting, and see its beauty, artistic perfection, refined qualities, and marvelous craftsmanship. As you watch the presentation, we would like you to keep this question in mind. How does Russian folk art, crafts, dance and music reflect Russian culture?
Sudarinya and Karusel are Russian folk groups which perform traditional Russian and Cossack folk songs and gypsy romances. The audiences delight in seeing and hearing traditional Russian instruments such as the balalaika, bayan or button accordion, guitar, wooden spoons, and Russian horn, among others. The balalaika is one of the most beloved and popular Russian folk instruments. It is a stringed musical instrument with a long neck. The body of the instrument has a triangular shape. Balalaikas may have 2 to 4 strings, but most have 3 strings. They vary in size. Some balalaikas are so large they must rest on the floor, but most are much smaller. The balalaika circulated throughout Russia with only 2 strings until the 16th century, when Ivan the Terrible lived up to his name and banished all court minstrels and wandering musicians. The instrument disappeared for a long time, and it did not emerge again until the 18th century. Ukrainian-born Sergei Vashenko dazzles audiences on the balalaika. Beginning his musical education on this traditional Russian instrument at an early age, Sergei studied his art at the most prominent schools of music in Russia. We find an interesting description of balalaika players in the Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky's Notes from the Dead House. The orchestra began to play. The balalaikas were unimaginable. The deftness with which fingers plucked the strings was equal to a most agile of tricks. Every possible dance tune was played. In the most animated places, the balalaika players knocked the sounding board with their knuckles. The tone, the taste, the rendition, the handling of the instruments, the interpretation, everything was highly individual, original. The accordion is a reed-type musical instrument worn on straps around the shoulder. The player stretches and compresses bellows, forcing air through metal tongues to make them vibrate. The right hand plays keys arranged in the order of the scale, like piano keys, while the left hand presses buttons that produce single tones and chords. The instrument you hear has 11 rows of buttons with 87 notes. Vladimir Kalyazin hails from the Baltic state of Latvia. He began developing his skills in the bayan accordion at the age of 5. Vladimir graduated from St. Petersburg Conservatory. His talent has earned him accolades from all over the world. Vladimir's bayan is a Russian 5-row chromatic accordion. The balalaika and the bayan are frequently played together. Sergei Vashenko and Vladimir Kalyazin have joined together to form an ensemble called Kalinka. Kalinka features both of these virtuoso performers who have toured extensively through Russia, Europe, and North and South America. Dmitry Chaskis, a native Russian, uses the guitar and a popular folk song, Moscow Nights, to teach Russian vocabulary in a Russian language class. See if you can join in with Dmitry.
And there it goes. Не слышны в саду даже шорохи, все здесь замерло до утра. Если б знали вы, как мне дороги подмосковные вечера. Если б знали вы, как мне дороги подмосковные вечера. Речка движется и не движется, вся из лунного серебра. Песня слышится и не слышится в эти тихие вечера. Песня слышится и не слышится в эти тихие вечера. А рассвет уже все заметнее. Так, пожалуйста, будь добра, не забудь и ты эти летние подмосковные вечера. Не забудь и ты эти летние подмосковные вечера. Хорошо. Well, this may take a little bit more practice both for you and for me, but I think it's a great song and I would like you to hear it once again.
Не слышны в саду даже шорохи, все здесь замерло до утра. Если б знали вы, как мне дороги подмосковные вечера. Если б знали вы, как мне дороги подмосковные вечера. Речка движется и не движется, вся из лунного серебра. Песня слышится и не слышится в эти тихие вечера. Песня слышится и не слышится в эти тихие вечера. А рассвет уже все заметнее. Так, пожалуйста, будь добра, не забудь и ты эти летние подмосковные вечера. Не забудь и ты эти летние подмосковные вечера.
Folk songs are remarkable for their diversity. The early songs, Chodavod, Round Dance, and calendar songs, relating to the seasonal year, were preserved from the period before Russia's conversion to Christianity in the 10th century. A unique place in both literature and music is occupied by the brylini, heroic ballads, which describe events occurring from the 11th to the 16th centuries. Some of the brylini were taken over by the historical songs describing specific historical events that occurred between the 16th and the 18th centuries. Another kind of song is the duchovnia stichi, spiritual verses, which are melodically similar to the brylini and the historical songs, but employ subject matter taken from the Bible and the lives of the saints. Wedding songs occupy a special and substantial place in Russian folk music. Collected over a long historical period, they form an essential part of the traditional peasant wedding, a long and elaborate ritual accompanied by songs and laments. Other types of songs are the comic or humorous songs performed by the skamarukhi, the Russian clowns or buffoons. Unique in Russian folk song is the so-called lyrical song. Noted for its rich melodic content, rhythmic freedom, and wide vocal range, the lyrical song may be said to express the poetic feelings of the performer. Other types of songs include town songs, chastushka, witty jingles, Christmas carols, soldier and sailor songs, prison songs, revolutionary songs, and children's songs. A very popular Russian song is Katyusha. Here, students perform Katyusha at the Russian Festival in Dallas, Texas. Russian folk song and folk dance are closely connected. From the earliest period of Russian history, there is evidence to show that folk dance played an important part in pagan and subsequently Christian ceremonies. The various events of the seasonal year were commemorated in song and dance. An important part of these events was a round dance called Khorovod, performed and accompanied by dramatic action and singing. The Russian Carousel performs an outstanding musical program of folk songs and dances based on traditional fairy tales of Russia. They bring fantasy to life with the help of music, props, puppetry, and masks. Also, the Carousel presents an extraordinary collection of traditional Russian musical instruments and antique folk costumes dating from the 18th and 19th centuries. Famous Russian folk dances include the squatting dance and the dance with bent knees. The trepak, which comes from the Old Russian verb trepat, to stamp the feet, is a dance in 2/4 time, performed at a lively tempo. From the frozen Siberian city of Krasnoyarsk comes a dance company with unique treasures of folk dance, Krasnoyarsk Dance Company of Siberia. Based on Siberian folk dances and songs passed down over hundreds of years, the ensemble transports audiences to the vast and beautiful places of Siberia with their deep folk melodies and original costumes. The performers follow one after another in a symphony of dance, at times slow and graceful, and other times swift and sparkling. While talking about Russian dancers, we cannot help mentioning the Gypsy and Ukrainian dances. Both have a great influence on Russian folk dancing. This gypsy dance is performed by students of Krasovska Ballet Jeunesse of Dallas. The Kazachok and Gopak are both Ukrainian dances. Enjoy beautiful Ukrainian dances performed by Zarya Ukrainian Dance Ensemble. Zarya Ukrainian dance ensembles' dance style and costumes represent geographic location, climatic conditions, and spiritual and traditional beliefs of various regions of Ukraine. It is a dark night in the Carpathian Mountains, and the Hutsuls gather to celebrate the festival of Ivan Kupala, a mythical matchmaker who brings happiness and prosperity to a deserving man and maiden. Mystery and anticipation fill the air. Mountain horns signal the approach of the man who builds a ritual fire and dances the secretive Arkan, followed by the rousing couple dance, the Kolomeyka. We find ourselves at the Zaporozhian Sich on the banks of the Dnipro. The Zaporozhian Cossack Brotherhood, led by their hetman, celebrate the arrival of a new recruit. During their sword and spear training, the hetman informs the Brotherhood that they must ride out to defend their homeland. Triumphant Cossacks return to their village, greeted with traditional bread and salt, and are reunited with their families. The Cossacks and villagers break into a spontaneous celebration with the Hopak, considered the national dance of the Ukraine.
You have had an opportunity to enjoy different kinds of Russian folk music, songs and dancers. You will continue to hear Russian folk music as you learn about Russian folk art in Part 2.